If any human being can be, see what I'm saying? If any human being can get sick, I can get sick. You know, I may not choose to do it, but I'm not going to see myself as different from you, because that's what creates the judgment, and that's what creates the separation, and that's what creates the problem. So there's a no exclusion thing that's going on. So based on what I just said, then this is what you need to remember. Some of the crap that you chose last week. Would an infinite being choose some of the relationships that you've chosen in the past? Would an infinite being choose your bank account? If your bank account isn't bringing you joy, would an infinite being choose that? Everything is a very interesting point of view. I can imagine, they don't even know, they're going to think I'm an alien in London. I'll say it again. Everything is just an interesting point of view, and the present is your point of power. Say what? My present is the point of power. Say what louder? My present is my point of power. Now it's time to live in the question, live in the question, live in the question, live in the question, live in the question. What would it take for what I want to show up in ways that I could never even dream of? What would it take for me to be able to listen to the Holy Spirit within my mind? What would it take for me to be able to listen to God, the God of my being, the God of my heart? What would it take for me to be able to listen to the truth and finally apply it in my life? What would it take for me to have the kind of relationships that remind me that I'm juicy and sweet? So remember this about the truth. You need not believe the ideas, and you need not accept the ideas, and you need not even welcome the ideas. And some of these ideas I may actively resist. Some of the ideas. That's amazing how you can be like jamming, and you'll see some people to be. You be want to say, where the hell are you? What's up? What's up? Can't you join? Ever? Get out your story for a second? Get in your head for a minute? And just like pretend you're alive? And just try and see what happens. And you're totally innocent if you don't, but damn. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If you don't want to feel good and you don't want to enjoy what I'm doing, just keep your butt at home and spare me your energy, because you are the only one who can make you happy in the end. Nobody else can make you happy. You waiting for somebody else, they're not gonna do it. You know why? Because a really happy people will avoid you like the plague. A really happy person will avoid you like plague. If you're not a happy person, you think they're gonna say, I'm a happy person, I wanna be with the saddest sack in the whole room. The only person that's gonna do that is a person that's also depressed. And then you get a chance to suffer together. At least I'm as miserable as I used to be. But at least I'm not miserable by myself. I can just look across the room and we can see each other. Your happiness is not outside yourself. And some of this stuff is hard to believe. Some of this stuff is startling. Some of this stuff you're gonna wanna say, hell no, I don't believe it. But if you use the ideas, you'll see that the ideas are true. If you use the ideas, you will see that the ideas are true, Bonnie. If you use the ideas, you will see the ideas are true. If you use the ideas, you will see the ideas are to show up right now. I want the love in ways beyond what I could even imagine. I want the love in ways beyond what I could even imagine. I remember that. You see what I'm saying? I remember that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the branching of the road. So a few points I want to make about that. It's on page 477 if you got the course book. Oh boy, I tell you. It was funny. I've for whatever reason, I haven't been able to really wrap my mind around going to India, but I thought I'd like to experience what India was like. And when I was in Virginia last weekend, I was taken to this place called Yogaville. And it's like on 500 acres of land out in the middle of nowhere outside of Charlottesville, Virginia, right? So my friends were gonna it was really great. This couple I was gonna stay with this couple when I went to Virginia to speak. And I hadn't met either one of them, and they were sending me emails, and they were saying, now, number one rule if you're gonna come stay with us is that you gotta be ready to have fun. You know, because we like to have fun. So, you know, just keep that in mind. We want you to stay a couple extra days because we got some things we want to show you because we all about the fun. And I went, oh man, okay. I'm getting ready to hook up with some people that know how to party. These gonna be some cool people. So I hadn't met them and they were gonna pick me up at the airport. I landed at the airport and then I see the couple that's there to pick me up and one is 80 and one is 78. And they was ready to party. And they were the coolest couple, and one of the coolest couples ever. But it was, again, perception. In my mind, I had made it someone even younger than me, the whole thing, you know. And that's what Spirit seems to be showing me in my personal experience right now, is that your perceptions are not reality. Just because you think it's that way. And see, I found out I was incorrect in what I perceived about them, but think about how many times you misperceived and never knew you were misperceiving. It's not like every time you misperceived, you found out. There's things you were wrong about till today that you don't even know you're completely wrong about. Like when I was a kid, what I thought I was seeing as a kid and what was really going on when I was an adult and my parents told me about what was happening during that time, I was shocked. Was I in the same reality? You know, because my perception as a child, I didn't know any of the stuff that was going on that was much deeper than I could have even imagined, because in my mind, I didn't see it. So I'm saying it again. If you're unhappy, if you're miserable, want to be wrong, hope that your perception of stuff is just not true. I didn't want to be right about Mike, the guy that
hit your car.
Yeah, hit my car. I didn't want to be right about him. That's why I called him back from a more loving place. I didn't want to focus in on it. But I had also made the decision that I was going to give myself peace regardless of what he did. That was the most important thing that I've done. So if there's a situation in your life right now that you are waiting for that situation to change before you give yourself happiness again, I don't want to tell you this, but the universe isn't going to help you. You know why? Because it would convince you that things outside of yourself had to change in order for you to feel peace. And that's not the truth. So actually the universe or God would be siding with the idea that your happiness is outside of yourself. And God isn't going to side with the idea that your happiness is outside of yourself. So the more you set up the conditions that you think have to occur before you'll let yourself be happy, the more you're going to have to do that thing on your own. And that's why it looks like you're doing a lot on your own, because that's the way you're looking at it. Man, I have to remember this, and I'm telling you this stuff so that I can remember it. Don't ever doubt for a second when you come to my class that you hear me say anything that I myself am not having to learn and to remember for myself. That's why I do the classes. People change. I'm pretty consistent in the classes I actually attend.
That's what I like about you.
What's that, Don?
That you're always talking about yourself. And sit there.
What is my favorite topic? Who else is there to talk about? Who else matters?
I'm trying to save myself.
I know what you're saying.
Yes, save yourself.
I'm gonna pass this around. If you're not on the contact list, please be on the contact list, because I video these classes and I put them online, and I send out email links to people so that they can click on it and be reminded, because we forget. When you come to the place where the branch in the road is quite apparent, when you come to the place where the branch in the road is quite apparent, you can't go ahead. So how do you know when you're at the branch of the road in some area of your life, you feel blocked? You feel like you can't go ahead. You don't know what to do in either direction. That means you are where? You're at the branch of the road. Okay, do you have your branch?
Yes, I'm right there now.
Okay, now that means that if you're at the branch of the road, now if you, those of you who are following me with the Course in Miracles, and people say the Course in Miracles is difficult to read, it seems to be difficult because you don't realize how simple it is. And we're used to more complexity. The Course in Miracles reads as if you don't understand anything it's saying. So what it does is it repeats what it says, and it restates what it says, and it tells you exactly what the sentence before it said and what it means. Let me show you. When you come to the place where the branch in the road is quite apparent, what does that mean? It means you can't go ahead. What does that mean? You go between each sentence. You could go, what does that mean? Well, it means that you must go either one way or the other.
Okay.
What does that mean? Well, it means that now, if you go straight ahead, what is straight ahead? The way you went before you reached the branch. If you keep going the same way you've been going before you reach this point where you feel blocked, right? He says, I'll tell you where you're going. You will go nowhere. So if you keep doing what you're doing in the same direction you've been doing it in, you're going nowhere. So if you're at the branch of the road right now, for instance, I was at the branch of the road with the guy yesterday. Because if I had kept going in the direction I was going, then I wouldn't be going nowhere. I would just be repeating those uncomfortable, unhappy feelings that I was having about him. So there was no benefit in me continuing to go in the same direction that I was going in. That's why I said in relationships, I've had so many relationships in my life, learning about relationships, that I gave myself pain through, that I just don't see any sense in doing them the way that I've always done them, regardless of what anybody else does, because I'm just going to get the same result. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. All right. That's right. Just get a kiss on the head without even asking, without even saying anything. I got to increase my ideas.
Yeah.
I know. I know. All the stuff I used to try to get, take, seduce, and manipulate when I was in my old mind, it's all freely given to me now. It's a trip. It's a trip. And when I'm around somebody and I find my temptation to come up, I'll just remind myself that it's not about getting, it's about receiving. You know, and it's because especially coming from a male ego that you're programmed, it's about getting. You know, it's about going out there and getting some. You know what I'm saying? Then it's really interesting to breathe and take a moment and say, oh, okay, I'm feeling my getting mechanism come up.
Yeah.
All right, let me breathe and just ask what would it take for the thing that I'm trying to get to show up. And for it to show up in ways that I didn't even think of. It works. It works. So when you come to the point where you're at the branch of the road, he says the whole purpose of coming this far, the reason why you came this far, and whatever that area is, whatever that area, choose the area so this won't seem like something abstract. Okay, you got your block?
Yeah.
You got your branch?
Yes.
Everybody? You got something
Yes.
that you feel like you've reached your limit in, your block?
Yes.
Everybody?
Yes.
Okay? All right, then the first thing you got to realize is